Good morning, Vietnam.
That's very strange. I was going to say the same thing.
Did you go to Vietnam recently too?
I did.
And also watch the movie?
We've both been to Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, I went for war. You were already there fighting for the other team.
Well, if you're on the other team, you got to fight for the other team.
Good
I'm
morning.
just noticing this. Look at this.
Butt plugs. You should cross out mop and write dick.
Oh no.
Not
Welcome to
mop
Banter
heads,
Boot Camp.
dick heads. Episode 79.
Something like that.
100.
Yeah.
100.
79. 100.
We've been doing this since the dawn of time.
Yeah, we're 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as far as we know, there's no proof that the world existed before this morning.
There's
when
no
I
proof
woke
that the
up.
world exists, Sam.
True. But we do have definitive proof that it's flat.
Well, yeah.
Just fucking look at it, dum-dum.
Yeah. It's flat. Moon's made of cheese.
And jizz.
I thought you were going to say something about Jesus.
Ooh. He was a woman. Trans woman.
And we're canceled. What's up, everybody? This is the Music Period podcast.
I'm Sam.
I'm Dave. This
Welcome.
is where we review albums and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This week, hot and fresh, ready for you. We got
Oh, yeah.
At this point, the album's actually been out for a couple...
It's been 25 years.
Yeah, right. I was going to say a couple decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a quarter of a century since this album came out.
It's Justin Bieber's first album.
Bieber's 60 now.
Legacy review.
So this is a kind of a legacy review, but it's actually more of a fan request.
Yeah.
We had a fan request that we do this album. It is called, it's by a band called Hum. And the album is called, what the hell is it called?
You'd Prefer An Astronaut.
You'd Prefer an Astronaut.
This is an album that was released in 95,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Which is, a real transitional time, I feel like, for rock and roll.
Yeah, sure.
Because, like, we were right on the cusp of getting nu metal.
Uh-huh.
And we were on the outs with grunge.
When did Kurt die?
Good question. Late 90s? 97, 99?
You think so?
I want it. Yeah, because we have a party every year.
You're right, and we just had it, right?
Right, and I just celebrate how he's not here anymore.
About time. All right, we don't have a producer, so
Right. We
94.
94.
I was gonna say it was more early 90s, I think, because I feel like, to go back to your transition comment, I
The
feel
death
like
of grunge.
yeah, and
Yeah.
these guys were still hanging on a little bit.
Yeah, so these guys were, my opinion, they're a wildly overlooked post-rock,
Yeah.
transitional band that kind of bridged the gap and let the next bands come in with the sound that they had. And there's a couple really specific examples of that, but I'm more interested to hear what your first impressions of it are, because I'm familiar with this album.
Yeah, I was not at all. I've given it a couple fair listens.
Yeah,
Maybe 3.
right.
I don't hate it, so I'll get that right out of the way.
I thought you were going to hate it.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a really, really specific sound.
I mean, in a way, I guess the way I think it maybe means more to you in your evolution of music listening, because to me, it doesn't sound like everything else, but I was getting hints of a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You know? Like, where the hell was it? The Pod. I liked that song
Great
a
song.
lot. It was number 2. It was really good.
Really good song. There's only a couple of songs on the album that I don't love.
Yeah. So The Pod was the first time Nirvana crept in my head.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. I can picture them smashing their guitars to this song. I thought that was kind of dope. Like at the end, they're just fucking smashing things.
Which is funny because there's so many parts on this album where it's the polar opposite, where they sound like they have the lowest energy. They're just like hair in their face.
So can we agree on something that this guy
maybe.
isn't a very good singer.
Okay.
Is he not? Is he?
He's not confident in himself, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he's very timid and insecure. You can hear it.
I guess I just mean like technically.
Yeah, sure. He's not like your typical person that you go, oh, wow, they should sing in a band. They got a really great voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's not exactly like it, but I was thinking of like the lead singer for Jane's Addiction.
Okay.
Where like,
yeah, I mean,
you're good. I like it, but
yep.
you're not a great singer.
You're right, and I think the reason why that's not talked about so much is because it's not like the main focus is for this music doesn't like it's not like a platform for a good singer because the chords that they're using, the tones that they have for the music and the instrumentation on the album, it's not. If you're a good singer, you'd have a hard time coming up with a catchy melody to go over a lot of this.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say that as like that's my biggest takeaway from this album.
Right.
It was just, I guess, kind of one of the first things I had where I was like, oh, okay, this guy.
He doesn't sound like he's like a learned student of vocal.
No, which is totally fine.
Right.
Which is totally fine. But there were just points where I'm like, Jesus.
There's
Christ,
a couple
what the
points
hell are
where
you doing?
he's like kind of screaming
yeah.
or something, and it doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound great.
No, and there's other times where he's just talking.
Yeah, he's got dude. It's so his vocals are so monotone on the latest record from Hum. It's even more so.
Yeah.
It's almost like drone, which I kind of like because there's so many other like atmospherical things going on that to have a constant that's kind of easy to follow. It's a good yin and a yang to it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll dig right in. Little Dipper was song number 1, and right from the first chord, I was like, "Yup, it's 1995."
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
The production's so dated.
Yeah. I was getting hints of like, shit. I may be way off, but I was getting hints of like Soundgarden.
Oh yeah.
And even like STP.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't a hard transition for me to get into this album because there was a span where I was listening to a lot of CYY. There was no Bluetooth in my car.
Right.
You know, I didn't have a CD player, so I listened to the radio.
You have to.
And up here, what do we got?
Butt rock.
Yeah. You've got CYY, which is for everybody who listens to this, they don't know.
Yeah.
It's an alternative rock station in our state.
Yep.
And then we have BLM, which is a classic rock station, and that's pretty much what we got.
Yeah.
You know,
especially back then. There was no like Hot 95.
No, God, no. Do we have that now?
I
haven't
know.
even turned on the radio
I haven't turned on the radio in forever.
We could have all the choices in the world.
There's probably like a bunch of really good indie stations, and they're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. They talk about us all the time, probably.
Yeah. In Germany, they do.
What's up, Germany? But yeah, I liked that song. But I could tell I knew right away what this album was going to be.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So it's in this time frame. They have been overshadowed by other bands like this.
It's very overshadowed.
Yeah.
They're forgotten about. They're overlooked, and it's because
Dude, sorry.
Go for it.
When our fan requested this, I thought it was an autocorrect.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, an astronaut.
No. You sent me the funniest text. I can't remember. You were so confused about one of them being the name of the band and one of them being the name of the album. You're like, what the hell is this?
I had no idea.
Right.
But so The Pod is song number 2. I talked about that. That's probably my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like their attempts at crossing over.
Yeah.
When they try to do like, you can tell when they're like, okay, we want this to be a single, and usually that can come off as forced and not very good.
Yeah.
I thought this band did a really good job of making it sound really good. Like The Pod, it's kind of heavy.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, damn, I can really get down with
Some
this.
of the riffs on this album are fucking riffs.
There's another one.
And the guitar tone on this thing, it's very unique.
I'd Like Your Hair Long.
Yeah.
That was another one.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dig this.
There's only a couple tracks that I really didn't dig. One of them is Songs of Farewell and Departure. It's the last track.
I don't like that song.
Didn't like that one.
Put me to sleep.
And I didn't like I Hate It Too. Last 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I don't have any problems with this record.
My note for I Hate It Too is exactly.
I Hate It Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's like, yeah, like you said, I mean, there's some songs on here that really sound like they could be singles, and there was one song specifically that was a really big single.
Yes. Yeah,
But it's funny because it didn't get picked up in that commercial.
Mm-hmm.
The song Stars, that got really popular, not for a while after this was released.
Wasn't it just like a transition thing for MTV?
Something
because
like that.
Every single person out there, go listen to Stars. If you watched MTV in the 90s, you're gonna know it right away.
That chord strike right after he finishes the line, and then like that's the end of the commercial.
Yeah.
I can picture it in my brain.
Right.
You know? But like that song got really popular when that commercial came out. So they ended up doing like some late night circuits after that. And it's funny that you bring up the fact that he's like not a really good singer, because there's not a whole lot of videos of them on the internet, but there is a video of them playing a performance from 120 minutes, and he is shaking. He's so nervous, and he has his hair down over his face, and he like flubs the line, and he's squeaking his way through that song at the beginning. There's nothing but his vocals and a very quiet, clean guitar in the background, and it's so in the forefront that he's insecure. And there's like, I don't know, when I watch it, I get this vibe of like, these guys weren't trying to be famous.
No.
You know?
Right.
They weren't trying to write a single. Yeah. They were trying to like just do something a little different. Yeah. And they did.
There's something endearing about that.
Yeah.
There was a couple notes that I wrote that are not very kind.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, so Suicide Machine.
Mm-hmm.
All I wrote was, I love you, Kurt.
Yeah.
Like, that is 100% trying to be Kurt Cobain.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is he talking or singing? I'm sad. My mom told me to go clean my room. And it got a little grating. He's like, like towards the end. I was like, Jesus Christ. Enough, man. Like, suicide, do it. If you're going to do it, you know.
What's the machine you're using? Because maybe we can buy you a better one to do it
but
faster.
Knowing that, so I'm gonna come off as like I'm trying to sound PC or whatever, but mental health is a very serious issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was actually struggling with something like that, I'd take back those comments.
Well,
I wanted to say that.
I think the whole vibe of this record is definitely sad.
My mom told me to clean my room.
I mean,
there's obviously something else going on.
Did you like it? Were you able to dive deep into the lyrics at all? Because it's very hard to find a way to understand what they're talking about, because from one line to the next he jumps a lot in his context, and a lot of people are like, this shit, I don't understand what the meaning of this song is. And he came out and he was like, pretty much every song's just about heartbreak.
Yeah. So no, I didn't. It was just an overall vibe I was getting. And like, I'll get to in a little bit, like kind of where this song put me.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I'll admit I wasn't very fair.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising though, because it's very hard to get sucked into the vocals, A, because sometimes it can be a bit drony, and B, he's not the best singer. Right. And then when you throw on top of that, your subject matter can be a little confusing and convoluted. You're not really asking people to really pay attention to the content of what you're talking about.
The crazy thing is, because it kind of seems like I don't hate it at all.
Yeah.
I did have to put myself somewhere.
Where'd you put yourself?
I put myself in my friend's garage, and these were my friends, and they were playing, and I was vibing. I loved it. Maybe I was a little high.
Yeah.
I was definitely a little drunk.
Mersh. We smoked some Mersh.
For real. There were a couple chicks there. Yeah. We're all fucking vibing.
We're all wearing like black hoodies. They're probably a little too dirty. 5 days without a wash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone has a skateboard. They're not very good at it.
100%, and they're trying. They've fallen a couple times. We laugh. We catch it on video because Jackass is big.
A couple of people have like the parted down the middle long hair.
Right. Yeah.
Semi-long hair, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely shoegazy, garage rock.
You've said shoegazy a couple times.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before.
So that's like a genre of music.
Is it just like an shucksy
shoegazing? The name comes from the way that the people who perform it look.
Okay.
You know, where their guitars are hanging low. They're probably wearing some baggy clothing. Yeah. Late 90s or early 90s, late 80s.
Right.
Influenced by emo, The Cure, but also laying the...
We should do a Cure album.
Ooh. Yeah. They kind of... That shoegaze stuff kind of laid the road for what we hear now as dream pop, or bedroom pop, or bedroom rock, like Kurt Weill and Mac DeMarco. Those shoegaze bands really kind of.
Never heard of either of them.
Yeah, they're good.
I shouldn't be a co-host of a music podcast.
Hey, we'll get it. We'll next week we're gonna do a bunch of shoegaze. So.
Yeah, shoegaze special.
How funny is? Yeah, I fucking love shoegaze, dude. Fucking makes me yeah. Oh, boy. But I think let me just back up for a second.
Okay.
My favorite track. Why I like the Robins.
Okay.
It kind of falls into the mix and you forget about it, but when you go and you listen to it stand alone, there's some really cool riffs on that song. There's some really cool vocal parts on that song, and the guitar tone throughout the album's great, but I think it really shines on the chord progression in this song.
Definitely like the guitar work on this album.
Yeah.
That was probably the highlight for me.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You think you know what chord is coming next based off of like historical data, and then they just do something completely different,
Yeah.
you know?
It is cool. For that song in particular, I did like it. I don't know, man. I was getting hints of like Incubus.
Yeah.
At certain times. I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? It kind of stood out.
All those bands, I think the major thing that came from this album, this band, there would be no like White Pony by Deftones without this.
So, Deftones, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought in
Yep.
the elements that became like more nu metal kind of stuff, but there were a couple bands that picked up what they were actually trying to do and ran with it.
Yeah.
Incubus is one of them. So they were probably influenced a lot by, they toured early on in their career with the Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
Hear that?
Yeah.
So they probably picked up a little bit from them,
Yeah.
and then they quickly had the ball and passed it over to the Deftones. And the Deftones really
Yeah, they didn't have it long, huh?
No.
Yeah, the Deftones put it together.
Yeah, they were supposed, the plays meant for them to score, you know.
Right. Yeah. I guess the more and more I think about it and actually talk it out, I mean, I didn't hate it. I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it.
I'm kind of a sucker for like this story.
Mm-hmm.
I love the underappreciated in their time.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes across it later on. They go, holy shit.
Right.
Do you realize how many bands didn't sound like this before this came out? And then all the popular shit that came out after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's rare.
Yeah.
And this is one that like I still feel like is kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people out there that even really know the band.
I never even knew.
Yeah.
I thought it was an autocorrect.
Yeah. And they did an album after this.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
No.
I mean, the album's good.
Yeah.
But like,
Didn't they just recently come out with something too?
Yeah, it was this year, and it's like heavy.
Yeah.
It's fucking really.
So they
good.
took their heavy parts and they.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
It's really.
I could probably
good.
get down with that more.
And the vocals are more, like they're tighter. The drone comes in tighter on it, so they lean heavy on that, but they do it well. Mm-hmm. It's a lower tone, and it acts as like a constant throughout the song. It's a very easy melody to follow, and then the rest of it becomes this fucking heavy, low-tuned fucking soundscape for you to swim through. And that's like your lifeline is the vocal melody.
Yeah.
It's really good. I almost, like on a first pass, when I first found this album, if you gave me both of the albums together, I'd probably like this newer one quicker.
Right.
This is more of a slow burn, and this is like, you know, kind of, you look back on it fondly and you go, shit, this is a cool story. I can't believe this didn't get, and that kind of builds up the folklore around it.
Yeah, it leans heavily on when it came out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the story behind it.
Right.
Which I didn't know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was picking up on some of it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's interviews with the singer of the band, singer guitar player, and it's like well after their popularity, probably like I think 2012 was the interview that I was reading. Yeah. And the interviewer was like, "When did you guys get together?" And he was like, "I don't know, 89, 91, 93 maybe." And the lady was like, "You came out with an album in 93." He's like, "Oh, so it must have been before that." Like you can just tell that he didn't, it's not even, it was so probably disappointing to them at that time, and but they also weren't invested in it to the point where they're not like, I fucking lost the championship game. I look back on it every day and I fucking regret it. They're just like, yeah, it was a thing. Yeah. It's crazy that it's popular now though.
It's, you know, in a lot of ways, once you get that separated from it, it's probably like we had a taste of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
not everybody. There are 99.9% of the people who try to do something, they don't even get that far.
Right.
You know?
And also, maybe it took a little while for people to get on board, but they got on board.
Yeah.
I don't know if you looked at any of the other reviews for this online. It's pretty solidly at 85 or higher everywhere.
Damn. Oh shit.
Yeah. And a lot of the reviews are like fucking overlooked masterpiece, fucking crafted the sound of the 90s, all this shit. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It was so very clearly 95 from the first note.
So
Like,
clearly.
oh, yep. There
And the
it
cool
is.
thing is they didn't lose a lot of their guitar tone sound on this new record.
Nice.
Yeah. They
Cool.
just like, yeah, I like that shit. Bring it
Yeah.
over.
Nice.
Yep.
It's probably not a record I'll ever really go back to,
No.
but I can appreciate it.
I have a copy of it on record. I got like the original pressing just
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a cool piece to have.
Yeah.
And every now and again, it's a fun thing. Like this morning when I was listening to it, cooking breakfast, really loud in the apartment.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a good vibe. I mean, it's kind of good background music.
Yeah.
It's not like super catchy, but it's fucking,
There's hints
Good.
of catchy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, what this was is I touched on it a little bit. I'm in a garage. I'm with my friends. We're having a get together. It's not a party. We're having a get together, and these dudes are playing, and it sounds great. You know, this is a case of Honey Brown. You know, it's the 90s, man. It's like what we could afford.
Right.
And I'm like nursing a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 because
Trying
again,
to look cool.
that's what I can afford. It's like Orange Jubilee.
Right.
Someone's passing around a fucking joint of Mersh,
Yeah.
you know. And you know what? If we are having pizza, it's because we all pooled the money that our parents gave us because
Yeah.
we told them we were going to the movies
Right.
and we bought pizza with it.
Yeah. And fucking Zach's parents aren't home, so we're going to go hang out in his garage.
Exactly. Like as soon as I put myself there, I was feeling it.
Yeah, Jonas's parents don't really do much they don't care if we fucking drink and smoke at their house as long as we don't drive, so we're
Right.
gonna go hang out there.
Where the hell did Chase go?
Dylan's parents, it's just Dylan's mom, but she's pretty cool, I guess. She sleeps a lot.
Kyle, shut up. I'm trying to listen.
There's one girl there, and all of them have a crush on her, and they're all convinced that they're gonna date her at some point.
And she knows.
And she does-
plays the whole room.
And she's like, I actually like the jock,
Yeah.
but whatever. You guys smoke me out.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love Incubus. Cool. That's
Yeah.
fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's very simple, and this is based purely off of the production and the guitar tone. But this pizza is a digital pizza,
Okay.
like a hologram pizza, and the topping on it is TV static.
Okay.
And you try and grab a piece of pizza and it goes. It's like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Nice. Well, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Dude, as soon as I turned it on, my first thought was like some shitty 90s movie where like it's the future.
Right.
And like a guy's like too poor to get food, but he's got, he's like, just pretend I'm eating digital pizza. But it's like a shitty hologram that like blinks in and out, you know?
Right.
And it's like kind of a blue lit
Because
thing.
it's a machine that actually makes pizza, but it's broken.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And TV static. Fucking.
I can't tell if that's flattering or not. You said you liked this record.
I do. Fucking leave it up for the people to decide.
All right, yeah, I would. I'd give it a recommend. Listen to it
Right.
for sure.
If you're looking for something different
Mm-hmm.
and you want to understand how music has progressed through the ages, you got to take a pit stop at Hum.
Sure.
Right in.
Give us more fan
Yeah.
choices. We've
Right.
got a couple more, but
I want to see requests for stuff I don't know.
that'd be cool.
And I don't know everything. I don't know a lot of things. Kind of a
I mean,
dum-dum.
look, Germany, Belgium, Mozambique,
Right.
fucking Russia,
Prussia.
all you people. What do you got over there?
Yeah, just type it in American so I can find it.
Well, if they're listening to us, I mean, but yeah, we're not just trying to do bullshit American stuff.
Yeah, I mean, pretty soon we're gonna start doing. I want to start focusing on some international stuff just because I want to broaden my horizons a little bit.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Yeah.
Well, write in, review, tell us what you want us to review.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about this album, any of the previous listens that we've done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify, Google, Ask Jeeves.
It's on all of them, right?
Internet.
Yeah.
Internet it.
Just type in Music Period Podcast. You'll find us.
Just internet
Music
it.
Period Podcast.
The podcast.
It's the Music Period Podcast.
It's the Music Period podcast.
Oh, yes.
Cool. Thanks for listening.
Coastal Collectible Breaks. Check it out.
Let us know what you think about the Grammys this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean your grandmother's house for Christmas. See ya.
See ya.